So I'm going to download Yosemite. This is going to go into lesson 3. And I'm also going to download a couple graphics that I'm going to put into the media folder. And then I'm going to kind of move this out of my way. I'm going to go ahead and open up Yosemite. And you'll notice that I did put some styling in here. You are going to be learning more about this next week. And then in addition to this very minimal styling, I do have some HTML. And what we're going to be doing is adding the 2 images that we downloaded. We're going to be adding them to our page. So for the first paragraph, right after our opening P, this is where we need to insert the first image. We'll do our image tag, source equals. So this is in the media folder. And the name of the graphic is Yosemite El Capitan. That JPEG, it's right there. Alternate text is El Capitan. And we're getting fancy on this one because we're going to give it a little title, and I'll show you what that looks like when we're viewing the page. El Capitan, Yosemite. And then we're also going to tell it the dimensions. So that's our first graphic. So I'm going to save this here and I'm going to view it. Hopefully view it. Oh, that came open in my other window. So here it is. A couple things you might note. First of all, the text is not flowing very well. We are going to have to actually add a little CSS for that. And we also need to insert our second graphic. To take care of the little flow, we are going to add a little ID here. So up in our CSS, I've got something called left pick and right pick. And this has styling to make the text flow around the graphic. So this particular graphic is going to be on the left, so we're calling it left pick. And we're going to use the ID attribute. I'm going to set that equal to, and in double quotes, you're just going to say left pick. Let me save this. And I'm going to reload that page to show you what that does. And this is the power of CSS. And so just those 3 little lines of CSS right here make it look a whole lot better. And float left, you'll be learning more about that next week. But basically, it just says, put the picture on the left and let the text flow around it. And the padding puts a little space between the picture and the text. So I put padding, spacing, on the right and on the bottom. Now we are going to be adding a second image tag. And for this one, it's also going to go right after the opening P tag in the second paragraph. And the source is media/Yosemite-tunnelview.jpg. And let me do a little space here. We're going to add our alternate text. And we'll just say tunnel view, Yosemite. Style equals. And this is where we are going to have to do a little extra work. So we are going to look up the width and the height of this image. How in the heck do we do that? Well, we need to come out here to the computer and we have to find our image. Here's tunnel view. And then there's a couple different ways we can get the width and height. If we go into view and content, content view will give you the width and the height. You can also right click on the graphic and go into properties. Go into details. And you can see that this also gives you the dimensions. And if you don't know what comes first, width or height, it actually tells you right here. So we've got a width of 300 and a height of 240. And so our width is 300 pixels, and then we've got a height of 240 pixels. And this one is going to have the same problem as the other one with the text flow. So let's save this and we'll take a look, and then we're going to add the ID to fix it. Okay, so that looks terrible. What we really want for this picture is for it to pop over on the right, and then we want the text flowing around it on the left. And it just so happens that this right pick ID tells it to float the picture on the right, and then the padding left and top just says put a little extra space above the picture and on the left of the picture. So we're going to add ID equals right pick right inside this tag, and then we're going to save it. And you will be learning all about CSS next week. A lot of this is pretty self-explanatory, but float basically positions, it's usually used to position graphics, and it allows text to flow around. So that's why we use it. And let's see, here we go. I'm going to reload this. And now you can see that that graphic is over here on the right. We've got some space above and to the left. Now we're almost done with this. The one that I have in the notes looks a little different because the screen is smaller. Okay, so I just wanted to point that out. This is a really wide screen. So, you know, depending on how big you have the screen, it's going to look different. And the last little touch that we're going to do is we're going to add a couple of absolute links to the bottom. So right above the closing body, we're going to add a footer. And so footers often have copyright information, contact information. We're going to say for more information on Yosemite, visit. Okay, and then we're going to do a little unordered list. So this is basically just a little bulleted list. And we're going to put a little absolute link in here. Okay, so there's my link. And in between my opening and my closing, I need to display the text that will serve as the actual link itself. And so I'm going to call it Yosemite National Park. And I'm going to do another bulleted line. And I'm going to show you a neat little trick. So if you happen to have a page displayed and you want to use that address as a link, what you can do is you can just simply copy the address. So I want to use this Ansel Adams gallery. So I'm going to highlight that. And I'm going to press Control and the letter C. And let me move this out of the way. So I've copied it. So right after my opening double quote, I'm going to press Control and the letter V as in Victor. And that puts the whole thing in there for me. And now I'm going to put my closing double quote in. I'm going to finish that off. And then for the text that I want it to say Ansel Adams, Images of Yosemite. So at this point, I have both of my absolute links. I'm going to do Control and S to save. Come over here. And of course, it opened in my other browser. Let's pop it back. I'm going to reload. And here they are. And so again, it's going to look different depending on how wide you have your screen. Next week, we are going to learn more about styling, and you will learn how to style the links. So for right now, you have to kind of live with the default colors, but it is a good idea to test those links to make sure they work.